Happy Flosstube Friday, friends. My name is Kari. This is Tiger Lily Designs. Welcome to Flosstube episode number 57. Yay! Happy Friday. Happy St. Patrick's Day today. Today is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. So I do have a little green shirt on, so don't pinch me, even though it doesn't match my sweater at all. But I feel like I needed a little bit of green so I didn't get pinched. So happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy Flosstube Friday. It has been 2 weeks since I was here. It's a whirlwind of fun, and I'm excited to share what I've been doing with you for the last 2 weeks. So if you are a returning subscriber, thanks so much for coming back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I've got lots of goodness, lots of making, lots of stitching, lots of quilting, lots of knitting, all the things here. Hopefully there's something for you. So stick around and check me out. I would love for you to like and subscribe to the channel if it's something that you want to see. So let's just dig right in. As I like to do in the beginning so that you know what you're in for, settle in, get your stitching, your knitting, your hand stitching, whatever you're doing. Let me tell you what we're going to talk about today. So I have got a table, as I always do, full of goodness. Now, because if you weren't here last time, usually I come back every week, every Flosstube Friday I'm here, but I missed a Friday because I was on spring break travel with my college daughter. So that's exciting. So, today's a little bit different because I don't have quite as much stitching, because when you're on vacation, stitching kind of like heads to the back burner. But I do have some stitching for when I got back, so I've got a couple whips to show you. And since I'm missing some of the actual stitching content, I went over to my cross-stitch bookcase and decided to pull out the Patriotic file folder to show you some of my Patriotic files, maybe give you inspiration, show you charts you haven't seen in the Patriotic genre, because I'm kind of feeling, I'm skipping right over spring, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm excited to start stitching some Patriotic, because I want to get it stitched and done and fully finished and ready for display for July. And even though it's only March, I think that's enough time to do it. So I'm excited for it. We're going to look at those together, see which one's going to come into the whip pile for next. Of course, I always have, it seems like now, I always have some knitting in which to share you. And when I'm traveling, I was knitting way more than I was stitching. So I have some knitting which to show you. We're also going to talk about the Tiger Lily TableRunner quilt along. It started this week. Are you joining? That's what's hanging right here. This is the quilt along that we're doing. It started week 1 just this week on Monday. So if you are a quilter, ever wanted to learn how to quilt, have ever plenty of time to dive in. I'm going to go through the details of week 1 just so you can hang that, show you a little bit what's going on. I do have a giveaway for today's video because it's fun. And I've got some haul from my vacation. And then at the end, I'll give you a little vacation blur because I know so many of you were following along with me on Instagram and you want to get some like real life stories as to what I was doing. And so I'm happy to share. It's fun, right? It's all about the community and sharing you with what I'm doing. So anyway, let's dig into the stitching, shall we? This, of course. So if you don't know, this is my keeper from the Keeper Club. Oh, so I will have a shop update at the end as well for Tiger Lily. So, but this is my Keeper Club keeper from this month, or from January's club. And of course, she is holding my birthday sale. Now, if you don't know, I am doing a birthday sale for myself. I'm a big birthday girl. Love me some birthdays for me, for everybody, all the things. But this is Harriot Hey from Mill and the Floss Samplers. Beautiful big girl. I call all my big girl all my historical samplers that are, let's see, this is 237 by 286. So she's affectionately called a big girl, and I love her. So she's my big girl birthday girl, and so she got love. Mostly that's what she got love this week. So I am chugging right along. I do love to finish. So last year I did Mary Morgan's for my birthday from Fox and Rabbit. And I finished it in about 6 months. And I know that's like a long time, but when you're stitching other things and doing other things, it takes a hot minute, right? But that big girl finished. And so I like the idea of finishing my birthday stitch in that birthday year. And so there are always big girls. I can't be in timeout for too long. So this one got some stitching. So what did I work on this week? Since last time I was here, last time I showed you, I worked on this cute little peacocky funky bird. And so this week I moved down to this little floral motif, the little pot. And so that's all we got. And then of course I always do some border stitching. I I force a thread. It's not forcing, but when you're going to be doing a border that's basically, let's look again, shall we? It's these red and yellow florals all around the whole perimeter of the stitch. Yes. So I like to give myself a little bit of grace and do a thread or two, you know, a strand, not a strand, a full 6 strands. So 3, because I'm doing, mine is, let's focus. Let me show you my card in case it's your first time here. This is my project information tracker card. I use this to show everything that I'm doing. I did a lot of floss conversions on. It was a custom Tiger Lily color conversion on this stitch. So it shows you what the called for DMC was, what are the overdyed I changed it to. I'm stitching mine on 16 count LFA Boston Tea Party Aida. I'm an Aida stitcher. Welcome. I stitch all my things on Aida. I can't see linen. And I'm okay with it. I had to do historical samplers and all the things. And I've had so many people that have been thankful. And I too am thankful to find floss tubers that only stitch on Aida too, because I kind of feel like sometimes there's I don't want to call it a stigma, but that you have to stitch on, like the samplers have to be on linen because, you know, that's just what it is. It does not. It does not. It does, especially if you get beautiful. And this is hand dyed by my friend Sue from LFA Linens. You get it from TreeHouse Fiber Arts. I will link all of them down below. So this is beautiful hand dyed Aida. Look at the modeling on that. Gorgeous. And so listen, it looks gorgeous on my wall. I'm just going to tell you, I have Miss Mary hanging in my dining room. I see her every night when we eat dinner and I love her. And I can't wait to put Harriet in the dining room as well. And that's what I'm doing. All my big girls, I'm calling them the funky floral big girls. They're always funky. In case you didn't know, this is not the traditional like ABC funky little thing. Funky is my name. Color is the jam. See the color? Jam. So, you know, I mean, there's a peacock, there's a funky bird and a rooster. And I mean, look at that guy. Crazy, right? So this is not your average historic sampler. I am drawn to the bright and the fun and the funky, and I'm here for it. So that is the Aida, and that's what got worked on this week. Now, we're going to step over a little bit. I do traditional stitches too, and so I got inspired to pull out a WIP that I haven't touched in a while because my friend Jessica, Sweetwater Stitcher, is starting to stitch along. I don't remember who she's starting the stitch along with, but I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this, I don't know. I started this before I had my project tracker information cards, so I can't tell you when I started this, but let's just looky-loo what I'm talking about. So this is the Plum Street Sampler Saltboxes. So spring. Here we are in spring. Welcome. Almost first day of spring. So those are so sweet, and they're just these sweet little salt box houses, and they're all so sweet. Sorry, I'm not taking them out of the plastic because you'd have to sit and listen to the crinkle and all the things. But there's 2 charts per season, right? And so I decided to stitch it all in one piece. And again, I don't know what I'm stitching it on. I think this is hand dyed by me, if I remember. One piece, so fun. It's Aida for sure, obviously. But this is what I've got. I started with winter on top. I don't remember why I started with winter on top, I'll be honest with you. Maybe because I liked it. Because I do love the red houses. But this is spring, and I'm pretty sure that I finished it. Yay. Now you can see, poor little reindeers, they're missing some back stitching. I think I ran out of one thread, and then there's a house color right here I didn't have, and so I just moved on. But this is the progress I have. So I am stitching mine like this. It's going to be 2 by 2 all the way down straight. Now you can see I'm not doing the thick, it's kind of like a Polaroid from the 90s or from the 80s even, that I'm not doing the thick border. I'm just doing, I think it's 3 stitches wide. So it's just a 3 stitch wide, kind of like white frame. And then I ended up putting 2, 4, 6 spaces in between it. So that's it. Symmetry is my jam. And so I just put 6 here and 6 here, and it's 3 in the white frame. And so I'm moving right along. But I loved doing it this way because I feel like there's lots of spaces in your house where there's that tall, skinny space, like kind of between bathroom door and a closet door and a wall. There's skinny walls that are hard to like long and skinny. What are you going to put on it? And so I was like, oh, so I frame myself. And so I'll be able to frame this long and skinny, and I don't know where it's going yet, but I loved being able to pull it back out and join my friends and get some stitches in on that this week. So that is the actual WIP stitching I have for this week. Not so much, and that's because of all the other things I've been doing, but that's okay. I give myself grace. It's a hobby. It's fun, right? You don't have, there's no race. There's no, gold trophy at the end. There's no medal. You do it at your own speed. No rush. Do whatever you want. So that's what I was stitching on this week, but I did do lots of other crafting, and I'm going to share that with you. But while we're let's stick to the stitch genre before we switch gears to knitting and quilting, just because it's called Flosstube. In case you're not into the jam of knitting and quilting, I want to show my stitchers first. So as I mentioned, I went over to my bookcase, which is over there. This is how I organize. I used to organize my charts, the ones that I have that are not kitted up and not stitched, not in the WIP basket or not, that's basically it. If they're in the WIP basket, then they're in a different storage unit. But if they are charts that I've bought or charts that I've partially kitted up, you'll see how I do those differently. I organize them in these cute little magazine folders. So I have one of these. It's this IKEA Billy bookcase. I have another one over there in my studio, and I have, I think, about 10 of these on one of the shelves. And so I label them because I am a sucker for a label maker, right? Organization, love some organization. So I have them organized by Christmas samplers. If they get a little full, then I separate them and create a new category, but it's just my way of keeping them organized. Of course, Blackbird has their own cubby holder. So this is my way of organizing it. I used to do it in binders. I used to do it in file folders. I just felt like I wasn't going to it enough. And then also, this is a way where I can put not only charts that I've bought that are just charts, but I can also do ones that are partially kitted. So I can go to this folder and be like, okay, I want to stitch Patriotic. And so I can file through these things, and some of them are actually fully kitted up. You'll see, ready to go. So let's just show you, in case you're inspired like me to stitch some Patriotic. These are the Patriotic ones that I have on hand, ready to go at any time. So souvenirs of summer. Of course, this is a Blackbird by all the Blackbirds. Beautiful. So cute. And then hold on, the one that I love. Okay, I love them all, really. So fun. The flag and the fish in that flag, so sweet. So I'm trying to find, so sweet. I do want to find, I am going to StitchCon this year. I'm super excited. Weekend A, are you Weekend A? Jam. Reach out in the comments. I am going to start putting together a little StitchCon Weekend A, maybe pre-party. We'll see. I know there's been Zooms with the Facebook group and all the things, but anyway, so I have to figure out what I'm going to stitch for my little small swap. But in the meantime, let's look at some of these. So this is Needle Bling Designs. Look at the welcome. So cute. Land of the Free. Such a sweet little Not Forgotten Farms. I love that. It's just, everything. So obviously I do from modern to pram to all the things. Now here's a big girl. Plum Street. A new constellation. So sweet. Now, I love this one. Let's talk about this for a hot minute. Now, I did do Teresa Kogut's Land That I Love, big sampler. I stitched that 2020, and I gifted it Christmas of 2020. You have to go back into my Flosstube if you want to see some finished pictures of it. It's hanging in Patrick's office right now. So I love both. I have both the Plum Street Equity Sampler and a new constellation. Love these. These will be great companion pieces to the Land That I Love. But this will tangent me. So why haven't I started these, right? Let's just look. So sweet. The Equity Sampler, the Equality Sampler. I'm sorry. The Equality, that flag is everything, right? So sweet. But I'm an A stitcher, right? And there are over ones, lots and lots of over ones. And so look at that eagle. So adorable. So, there's some over one, and I do adapt a lot of the over one and kind of just rechart it. If it's words, I'll change the words. If it's alphabets, I'll just tweak it and move it and maybe remove a motif or two, so then I can do it easily on Ada, right? But some of these things, I'm pretty sure that these people and their faces are over one. And somebody asked me, what does over one mean? How do you do over one on Ada? Well, so that's the trick of it all. And that's the pickle, the challenge is over one on Ada is not easy peasy. Over one on linen. Okay, so when you're doing linen, okay, linen is over 2 stitches, right? So if it's 28 count linen, which is the equivalent to 14 count, there's 2 holes. So over one, you just go to little tiny, the first hole, right? 2 over 1, 1 over 2. But if you're doing Ada and you do over one, there's no hole for you in the middle. You kind of have to pierce the hole, pierce the fabric, make the hole. When you're doing it on 14 count, there's enough room, I feel. I mean, you got 2 strands of thread. You do bring it down to 1 strand usually when you're doing over one because of the bulk of everything. So, but still, you have to make every single hole. There is no hole you're going in. And so I found it is not easy. It is not enjoyable. And that's what my hobby is. Not easy, enjoyable. So that is the one thing where that's the one reason why I have not kitted up and started this one to be a companion piece on the wall next to Lynn that I love. And it's probably because these girls, I can't read their names, are going to be over one. I'm 90% sure. And the same thing with these words, which even with my glasses, I can't read the daggone words. Maybe I need new glasses. Over one as well. So I don't know how I'm going to do it, whether I'm going to try to mix and mingle or remove the motif or add the motif. So that is why these 2 were still on the 1 day pile, the Patriotic 1 day. So we'll just, I do love them. I want to stitch them, but they just need a little work. So here's this sweet little Liberty House sampler. That is a cute little quickie. Stars and Stripes by Little House Needleworks. Bless Our Land. Can you tell I love some Plum Street? That is so sweet. Love the house. This would be an easy stitch. Sweet little flags, sweet little birds. Pull from your stash. It's like 10 colors, easy to do. Betsy Ross's Stockings from Plum Street. Threadwork Primitives, Happy 4th, so sweet. I do have, so I'm not gonna flash these real quick. Pinker and Pumpkin and Not Forgotten Farms. These are 2 Patriotic freebies that I found along the way. Those are filed in there as well. This is what I was talking about, how when I'm partially kitting them up, I put them in one of these. This is an Amazon. I will link it down below. These are my favorite little pre-kitted up. So before they go into one of my pretty project bags, they go into one of these Amazon kitting up in the process bags. So these are just, I guess 10 by 13 folders. And so so you can see I've got little check marks on some of the flosses. I've changed a couple of them already. Totally kitted up. I've got some fabric pulled. This looks like a Picture This Plus for sure. And it's 16 count Picture This Plus Darling. It's a sweet little gray blue to do this patriotic. Look at George Washington, his little blue skin. Horse. So this one's almost ready. So if I were going to be a guest, if I was a Betty woman, the one I'm going to do next is this one. Because it's 90% kitted. And I could just probably finish it up, pull from stash, and get some colors that are close enough. Grapevine, Garrison Green, all colors that I can find something in those inspired by following the rules of. So that was just a fun little walkthrough of my patriotic file. Did you like that? Do you want to see some of the other ones that I have? I want to keep them on season. Obviously, I'm not going to show you Christmas right now unless you want to, but that's the biggest one because that, to be honest, that's probably my favorite season to stitch. I love a good Christmas ornament. I love a good Christmas small. I love a good Christmas big. So besides my Big Girls historic samplers that are going to live on my wall 24/7, Christmas is probably my second favorite. But so that is fun, and that is my stitching, and let's move on to knitting, shall we? Before we move on to knitting, I forgot to do the giveaways. The giveaways are linked to stitching, so might as well stay on topic, shall we? So what I do is I have 2 of the same. Love that. I have lots of stitchy friends that when they want to share their stash or pass the stash, they say, can I send you a box of charts? I appreciate and love every second of that to share them on with you and do them during my Flosstube giveaways. So my friends, Linda and Laura, have sent me the same chart. Gotta love it. Back last summer, and so I thought it's a perfect time to share them with you. So it's the classic Easter sampler by Annabella's. I have 2 charts. To enter to win this giveaway, you need to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and use the word Easter in your comment down below. So next week I will use the random YouTube comment generator picker. Choose the comment that says Easter and I'll announce the winner. So then you'll get to send it to you, and it's a really quick stitch. You can either stitch it as is, or you can pull it out and just do a little pillow of these sweet little bunnies. They are so adorable. And the chicks and the eggs, so adorable. So this one is 2 giveaways. So hopefully that's exciting for you. All right, so as I mentioned, let's move on to knitting, shall we? Now, knitting has a bigger segment, I think, this week, and that's because of my travel. So I learned really quickly, because even though I'm an Aida stitcher and that's much easier to see than linen, still airplane lighting and airplane turbulence is not conducive to cross stitching a lot of the time. And my eyes get tired, and even if I have my little round your neck book lighty glow, because I don't bring my halo glow because I'm already feel like I'm a pack mule with all the things that I bring on the carry-on. So I decided that knitting was what I was going to be doing during my travels this time. And I'm so excited that I did. So let's just show you some of the things I worked on because it's fun. So if you don't know, this is my first sweater. This was my sweater. I am a new knitter. Hadn't picked up a needle. Knitting needles are new to me. I think it was October. I do need to figure it out, but it was in the fall sometime. And my friend Sue, who dyes the LFA, the Aida beautiful mottled linen, she's also a yarn dyer. I think she's yarn dyeing business with her daughter. And so beautiful. And of course, I'm always oogling over the colors. Listen, colors jam, right. So the yarn, gorgeous. And she's like, Kari, you just, here, have some yarn. And I was like, so I knit myself a hat, and the rest is history. One hat, and I was like, this needs to be added to my making list of fun. And so I had so much fun. So I made the hat when we went to Clemson homecoming. So that was in October. So that is when this journey started. October, I did the hat on the way down and back in the car. Perfect for car work. Was knitting this hat using the beautiful Whoville yarn from Sue at LFA. Gorgeous. I will see if I can insert a picture, but if not, go back to my Instagram. I definitely show it early on back in October. So that's when I did that. That's when I started. And so then I was like, I'm just going to jump into the deep end. That's how I roll, people. So I went right to a sweater. So this is sweater number 1. So I went from a hat to a sweater, and it was a cardigan, which supposedly is harder than a regular sweater. I don't know. It's just straight stitch. So this is the Malabrigo yarn, free pattern, tin can knits. I forget what the pattern is called, but I definitely talk about it many times in my floss tubes. So in the meantime, what have I been knitting on now? Well, as you can see, behind the curtain is lots of yarn. I'm a yarn collector. That's also a hobby. I'm excited about it. So I pulled from my stash, but the day before I was leaving, I was like, I need to just cake up a couple skeins of yarn so I have options, right? So the Musselburgh hat is a very popular hat, very popular, super easy. Once you work out that you kind of do the decreases in the beginning, you do the crown first, and then it's just stucking it in the round like it's your job. And I was like, that's going to be perfect for the airplane. So I started 2 Musselburghs, one for Lily, my daughter, because she can do stockinette in the round, and that's the level of her want to knit and her desire to learn to knit. It's just round and around she goes. And so since I knew we had hours and hours and hours of travel ahead of us, I was like, I'm going to start 2 of them just in case she wants to do it. Now, lo and behold, to me, not only did she like it, she took it back with her to school. Now it's not done, but I don't have it to show you to you. It's the moral of the story. So I started mine. Here is my Musselburgh. Look how great that looks on camera. So what yarn is this? This is my friend Molly. Love her yarn. She is a Chicago-based indie dyer. So sweet. Her business is called Sweet Tea Yarns. I will link her Etsy shop or Instagram down below, and you can go and follow her if you are in the market for hand-dyed yarn. She does shop updates probably once or twice a month. Just follow along. But this was a color called Mystic. Lots of one-of-a-kind ones. This is a DK weight. Beautiful. So here's my cake. And this is what I got so far. Love it. And it's just perfect. Travel, mindless, airplane, love it. Now, the thing with the Musselburgh, I'm learning, right? This is definitely a learning process. Like I said, this is DK white. And the cool thing about the Musselburgh hat pattern is it's written for all kinds of gauges, all kinds of yarns, all the things. This hat's been around forever. I'm like the 1000th person to talk about it. But in case you don't know, it comes with this beautiful chart that you can do 6 sizes of hats from baby to adult extra large based on the circumference of your head, the gauge unit. You don't even have to do a gauge swatch. You just determine your gauge when you're working on the top and you knit around. So I am using a DK weight yarn because that is what I wanted. I wanted this fun purple hat. I thought it would look good with my hair and I'm pretty excited. That's what matters, right? So cute. I love the variegation, the little tonal, the movement in the color swatches. And so this is DK knitted on, this is a US 5 circular needle. And I just go around and around and around and around. So at some point, this is the hat that goes inside each other. So it's basically a hat and then it's a hat shoved in. So it's like a tube double stick hat. I'm worried. It says it's a one skein wonder. Now, maybe it's one skein if I was knitting a baby size. Maybe it's one skein like I'm doing an adult medium. It's not like super big. I've got 59 grams of yarn, just measured it, 59 grams of yarn left. So I'm almost to the halfway point of my ball of yarn. I need to knit 18.5 inches until I start my decrease. I'm at 18 inches. So that means half would be 9. From the bottom to the top would be 9. I'm at 8. So I need another inch and then I'll be halfway through the hat. But I'm at 59 grams. So it is close. Close. But the good news is, because this is what I'm thinking. The good news is, right, here's the hat. It's hard to tell. But because the inside is shoved inside, if I run out of yarn, I could have a little surprise inside. No one will be the wiser, right? It won't be double-sided, but I think that's what my plan's going to be. And I have a couple skeins of Molly's DK weight yarn. So I think, so I won't lose my gauge won't change because I'll be using the exact same yarn, just a different color. And so inside, I'm thinking I'm just going to have a little pop of a different color because I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out. But that's okay. So this was fun, perfect airplane stitching. When I wanted to switch gears, what my goal was, if you don't know, I've been trying to do socks too. Because, you know, if you're hats and then sweaters, you got to do socks, right? I don't know. So anyway, I definitely follow along Crazy Sock Lady. I will link her down below. She's got this great DK weight vanilla sock pattern all on Ravelry. This is a free pattern from her. Love it. And so I ordered myself, like I said, collecting yarn is just as much of a hobby as actually knitting with said yarn. So I ordered myself the Freckled Whimsy. I'm part of their monthly striping color, all the things. The striping yarn, so gorgeous. Her name is Kari. How fabulous is that? So this was her March DK Yarn of the Month Club. I get the DK Yarn of the Month Club. So it comes with 100 gram scheme of this stuff striping and then a 50, 20, a smaller skein of the complementing color. Anyway, so what I did, so I've got a pair of socks cast on with fingering yarn. That's a lot slower because you got to knit a lot more knitting, a lot more stitches. And so, and then I got to the heel, and the heels are tricky. As you will see, heels are tricky. Now, I'm not doing mine 2 at a time. They're traditional 2 at a time, because traditional 2 at a time, they would be on the same cord. They are not, because I don't know how to do that. I just do what I do. So I'm working, I'm learning, and you can see my stripes don't match, because when I caked up the ball, I don't know, I guess I was supposed to cake it up and then cake it up again backwards if I wanted the stripes to be going the way. I'm learning. Listen, it's funky color stripes. They're in the same family. They're going on my feet. I'm excited about it. We'll see. The trick is I do have to get past these heels. So this is as far as I got. And then I was like, I don't know. So anyway, one day, I hope it's not in August. They'll be great. Maybe next, because spring's like next week, but maybe next fall, I'll have these cute little socks. Meanwhile, I'll be getting another set of sock yarn coming up soon. So I had that in my little sock box. This is the perfect size. I showed you guys this during Bagapalooza last week. I showed you all my little stitchy bags. And this bag, I'm just going to tell you, this is the cat's pajamas, because when you're traveling and you're trying to do this little bag, this has my 2 cakes, my 2 socks, the 2 balls that go with the socks, and the Musselburgh hat, all in this one box, and some pins and a stretcher and a measuring tape and a perfect size. But of course, I did have this one. Now, this is the one I showed you guys Bagapalooza last week. This is, I think, the fan favorite. I love it too. So I think this one is going to be my first bag tutorial, because A, I need to make more of them, and why not bring you along when to make some? So cute. It's a little gusset pocket this way, not the folded gusset. Love it. So anyway, for size comparison, these are the things. This one would probably hold a sweater. Speaking of sweater, yes. So those are the knitting projects that I've done. But while I was on vacation, I did go to said knitting store. When you're in, I've decided, when you go to travel, and I'll talk about my travel a little bit more later on the thing, but now we're still in the knitting segment. And so I want to talk about the knitting store. And so you get to Greece, to Athens, and you're Googling needlepoint. No. Embroidery. No. Cross stitch. No. None of that was anywhere. I don't know where these people get their stuff. They don't have any stores. But do they have yarn stores? Yes, they do. So I persuaded Lily to let me add visiting a yarn store to our very tight agenda. And she graciously agreed. And so, without further ado, let me show you my yarn haul. Now, I went into this, it's sweet, fantastic. I will insert a picture here. So fabulous. Tiny little store. Like, tiny. I wish I could, of course, you don't know the size of my bathroom, but it's tiny. And, but floor to ceiling cubbies of yarn. Gorgeous. And of course, they only had like 1 or 2 skeins of each. And then I was like, oh, but I was hoping to take home a sweater quantity just as part of my souvenir. I'm not a big like souvenir, buy the souvenirs while you're there. This will be a make a souvenir type of souvenir for this trip. And so the great thing is, although in the front of the store, they only had 1 or 2 skeins of each color, or balls or cakes or whatever of each color, back in the back, they had oodles of inventory. I don't even know, but no problem. But what was a problem? I went in there. Of course, language is tricky, and I don't speak Greek, and neither does Lily. And so we were able to communicate. Unfortunately, there was no, I went in there with the goal of taking home like indie dyed, like made in Greece yarn. And he's like, no. So that's okay. That's still from my trip. This yarn is all made in Italy. So that's exciting. So I got this So his thing was, he was just like, he had so many samples, little like 10 by 10 swatches of the yarns knit up, which is fantastic. A lot of my local shops that I've been inside do not have that. They'll have like a sample sweater of 1 or 2 things. This store had little 12 by 12 knit swatches of oodles of their things, which was fantastic and fascinating. So I was touching, he's like, you know, it's all about touching. That's really the thing. You can't buy yarn online, I figured out, unless you know what you're doing, unless you've bought that before, or you've bought that brand before, because the tactileness, the touchiness of it. Anyway, so this one he brought to me, and I know, I wish you had squishy vision, because you would die. But just trust you me, it is squishy, soft. It's called Snowflake. This beautiful colorway. I know it doesn't remind you of the Grease Waters, but the blue, it's a quintessential. They have this like evil eye situation with the blue and the thing. So sweet. So I ended up getting myself 9. Now, of course, the patterns that were all written in Greece, so I have no idea what we're gonna do, but it's nice and bulky and squishy, and I got 9 skeins, and so now I just have to figure out what sweater I'm going to make for my Greece souvenir. But of course, that's not all I could get. I had to get, look, this is also, so this Lang is an Italian brand, and it's just gorgeous. I love the multicolor spin. This is a nice, it feels worsted weight. Again, can't read the label, don't know what it says, but I think it's going to be a fun hat. It could be a fun fingerless gloves. So fun. And then last but not least, when I was squishing everything, he goes, oh, so you want socks? A sock. Yes. Look at this super socks, cashmere color, self-striping. This is, I think it's fingering. I'm sure it is, but it's cashmere socks for real. So this will just go to my stash. So that is my fun haul, my knitting haul from Greece. And now let's move on to the quilt along. You don't know. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I am starting, this is a 4-week quilt along with yours truly. What we are doing is I'm showing you from fabric to finish how to get yourself this quilt. If you are a beginning quilter, this is perfect for you. If you have been quilting for a while and you just want to hone up some skills, maybe you'll learn a new technique. I don't know. Maybe you won't. I don't know. But we're doing it together. The only thing that you need, I've got a materials list. Let me show you. So everything is linked down below. Here's the materials list. Plenty of time. So what we're doing is every week on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, I'm coming on live and doing that week's activity. And so materials list, check. Quilt along calendar, check. So week 1, so this past Monday, we did cut the fabrics. We sewed the half square triangle cheat sheet blocks. We're pressing and trimming our half square triangles. That's it for week 1. So like I said, on Monday, I came and did almost all of it. You didn't watch me do all of it, but so I this is my fabric. I cut it all out. And then I showed you guys how you turn 1 sheet of solid, 1 square of solid, and 1 square of your fabric, and you sew around all 4 edges, okay? And then magically, it becomes 4 half square triangles. And all you have to do is trim them, and then you're ready to go for the block assembly. So you can see how these are gonna get sewn together like this, right? But that's week 2. But anyway, so that is what we're doing. This is the fabric collection I chose. So obviously I did a spring one for my prototype sampler into designing the pattern. And then with you guys, I am doing this fun patriotic. Can you see where I'm going with this? My patriotic fabric. This is Red, White, and Bang from Riley Blake, from Sandy Gervais from last year, but it's gorgeous, fun, red, white, and blue. It just doesn't scream flags and stuff. Not that I don't. I love that, but this is just fun, patriotic colors, so I'm excited to do that. So hopefully you're joining along, still plenty of time. The videos will live forever. You can always catch a replay. You don't have to catch it live. I know that, sometimes 10 a.m. on a Monday is not really super convenient for everyone to watch, but the good news is the replay is always there online. So hopefully if you've ever wanted to quilt, you can come check that out and join along. I did have a fantastic TableRunner cut guide, so you can make sure that when you're cutting your fabrics, you get the most bang for your buck regarding your fabric, so you can get every little piece that you need out. So that is the quilting. So let's do a little shop update. I had the March 15th collection launch this week. It sold out super quick. It was really small because I was traveling. But there was one and it sold out. Thank you so much for your support. We are closing in on the Keeper Club. I did open it up because they added more spots this time around versus the January club. I gave the January Keeper Club members first right of refusal, so they got to sign up first if they got the January box. Then I opened it up to the wait list, and the wait list is now open for everyone. So down below is a link to the Keeper Club box. As of recording time here on Friday morning, there are 17 spots left. Yeah. So I don't know by the time this thing uploads and things if it's gone already. If it is, I'm so sorry. Put your name on the wait list. I anticipate, I hope, I'm planning that in July. So this is for the April box. The April box will ship out on April 25th. And I'm just telling you that's what else is on this table right now. And it is the cat's pajamas. I'm pretty excited about the fabric, about the goodies that are going in it. I mean, I don't know. I love it. I love it. And I hope you will too. But so that's the April box. It'll go out on April 25th. The next box is July. Now, if you signed up for April, if you have signed up for this subscription, you are signed up. There is no re-signing up necessary. It's a subscription quarterly box. And so it'll just, until you log in and cancel your subscription, you'll just keep hitting get quarterly boxes. So if you have signed up successfully for this subscription quarterly box, you are in, you are good to go. Just get excited for the boxes to come. Now, I'm hoping that for the July box, I will be able to add a few spots. Now, as I've mentioned before, I am the bottleneck in the situation. I hand make every single one of the keepers that goes in the boxes. And so my two hands can only work so many hours a day. And I'm trying to do the monthly collection. I'm trying to do these quilt alongs and these other things that I do. And so shifting to management and time management is a challenge. And I'm also trying to have a little bit of fun, right? So, but I'm hopeful and I'm pretty optimistic that I will be able to add a few. I'm not going to put a quantity on it, but I will be able to add some spots in for the July box. So if you aren't able to get the April box, there is a link as well on the page to get added to the wait list. The wait list will be informed first, probably sometime in May, when I figure out the quantity that July is going to be, and then I'll open that slot up, and then maybe you can grab your space for July. But that is the Tiger Lily shop update. I do want to give you guys, because so many of you were so sweet and followed along and wanted to know. So as I mentioned, I was on travel last week on spring break with my daughter. Now, my daughter is a first year. We don't call them freshmen at her school. I don't know why. I learned that. So UVA calls them first year. So she's a first year freshman, AKA, in college this year. And so, of course, spring break is one of those rite of passage. When my son was a freshman, he went to the beach with his friends. And so, you know, I think I'm a cool mom, but, you know, sometimes college kids don't have the same opinion. Well, the good news is Lily was excited and gung-ho to spend her spring break with her mom. So of course I jumped at the chance because I don't know how many more opportunities I will have for my college-age daughter to think it's cool to travel with her mom, at least until she gets older. And then maybe I'll be cool again. But so I let her, we planned and we did this quick little whirlwind trip to Athens. And so it was super fun. We were able to use all these my frequent flyer points, so that's exciting, and we had so much fun. It was a little bit of a challenge, so I'll give you like a 3-minute story just in case you've ever wanted to go to Athens, and I'll give you some recommendations, what we did, all the things for fun, right? So we flew out. Our travel started with a little bit of hiccup, as one does when you've got 3 planes. So yes, 2 different connections to get from DC to Athens. Well, so the stop in London that was supposed to be an hour and a half turned into almost 18 hours. So it was an overnight in London. So we had a surprise actual add-on addition to the trip. We took a little day trip to Windsor Castle, and that was fun, and see all the royal things, and we got a little, it's just fun to little add on, make lemonade out of lemons, right? Yeah. So we did that, and that was great. So super fun, totally recommended if you're ever in Heathrow for like that was the thing, is we were in Heathrow, right? And so you're there, and they're like, okay, to go from Heathrow to London proper was like an hour, depending on traffic. You're at the mercy of traffic. And I was like, okay, well, by the time we wake up and then we get to get back we only had like 4 hours, 5 hours max. And so it was too risky for us to go to London proper and see like Big Ben or the bridges or, things like that. So what we did to the Google, because we weren't planning to be in London. And so we ended up, Windsor Castle. Windsor Castle is only like 9 miles away from Heathrow. So it was a 20-minute Uber ride from our hotel over to Windsor Castle. We did Windsor Castle in like 2.5, 3 hours, walked around the little cute town of Windsor until we were frozen tundra, because we did not pack for London, we packed for Athens. And London is a lot cooler than Athens. So once we were frozen, we Ubered back to the airport and just enjoyed a leisurely fish and chips lunch in London until we got on the plane to Athens. So we got to Athens about a day later, but that's okay, because with the whole 7-hour time change, friends, that was okay. The slow getting there let us acclimate a little better. So then on Monday morning, we woke up and hit the ground running. We got up that morning, and thankfully when we chose our hotel, chose our hotel based on proximity. And so it was kind of like, we looked at a map of Athens, because we were only staying in Athens, and we looked at a map and we're like, okay, right there, because these are all the things we want to go to, and we're right there in the middle. And we put on our tennis shoes and, walked 20 miles, not 20,000 steps, 20 miles a day, just around the city. And so it was perfect. It was perfect. The weather was perfect. Our location was fantastic. So Monday morning we got up, had breakfast, super great. They always talk about European food and better and all the things. So it was fantastic. So we had beautiful cappuccinos and yogurt and berries. I mean, getting blackberries and pomegranates and all the things in the middle of what we're calling winter still is fantastic. So yummy. Then we walked down to the Acropolis and the Parthenon and all the things in the classic city of Angora. And then we walked through Plaka Market and all these things that I'm not going to be able to pronounce properly. And my daughter was just like, Lily, she was just like, you just mixed up vowels like it's... I don't know. So I am the American tourist, and I'm okay with it. I am not trying to be somebody I'm not, but we had so much fun. And that Monday afternoon we did a cooking class. So I had 2 things booked on TripAdvisor before we went. One was a Greek cooking class right down in the heart of Athens, super fun. I will link it down below if you ever go there. Super great. It was through a company called The Greek Kitchen, and you went there. It was a small little group. That's the great thing about going in spring break. So just in case you ever are like, when should I go? So we went in March, obviously, right? And so the good news is that is not high season. That is off season for tourists in Athens. So there were there were people, right? No, people are there, but it is nothing compared to what you would see in June, July, and August. The weather, we were wearing jeans and, long sleeve shirts, totally fine, perfect, great. But the advantages of not having a zillion people to do this, like he was saying, here we are in a cooking class, there were 8 of us, 4 from the United States and 4 from the UK. He says, normally in the summer, this cooking class has 25 people. That's crazy. It's just so many people trying to do the same things. Anyway, so we cooked like spanakopita and wrapped these grape leaves meat things. We went to the Central Market and bought the meat like fresh from the thing. And then you went and you saw the like quintessential old Greek lady with her hat and her thing. And she was squabbling with the guy about the price of the bread. It was adorable. It was like a movie. And so we went back and we did the cooking, and it was like a 4-course meal, super fun. So then the next day we did shopping, did some things, had some lunch. It's all about the gyros. I don't know. I was saying it wrong all the time. And of course, then we had to try gelato like at every day, because it's like the best part of going over there is having gelato. So we did that. Wednesday was fantastic. Who knew there was going to be a protest in Athens? We weren't there. That's okay. We didn't plan it that way, but thankfully we had planned a day trip out of the city on Wednesday. We were going to the city of Delphi. Now, the city of Delphi is about 3 hours away from Athens. So it was a bus tour, pick you up, you get on one of these air-conditioned buses and drive 3 hours away. The great thing about the bus tour is the lady was sitting there telling you, it's like listening to Greek mythology 101 podcast for 3 hours. And it was just fascinating. Where you were going was just this ancient ruins from Zeus and Apollo and all this Greek mythology. And you get there and you're just, the amount that these buildings are, of course, there's so many numbers in my head right now. These buildings, 2,000, 4,000, I don't know, like really, like the center of the earth, Zeus and the navel and beautiful, breathtaking, once in a lifetime. Loved it. We had so much fun. And it was a great break in the middle of our trip because, like I said, we had been walking all like it was our job on Monday and Tuesday. So on Wednesday to take a little debrief and ride on a bus for 3 hours, did some knitting, and then get to this beautiful non-city view. To have a non-city day was great. And then we came back, we did some nightlife in Athens. That was fun. And so then Thursday, our last day, we did a e-bike city tour. Totally recommend. Wish we had done it. When we did it was great. But if we had done it the first day, we might have gone to some other couple places, because you see so much more. You can imagine walking, you see so much, right? But you can see so much more when you're riding a bike. And so we rode it. It was like a 3-hour e-bike tour, super great. Again, this is a situation where there were 4 of us on this tour. And I asked the guy, I was like, so there's the guy, and then there's 4 of us on bikes. Then we're in an assembly line, following around, driving around, see, there's the view of the Acropolis, here's the view of this, and that, all the things. And we stopped and we watched the changing of the guards, which is crazy town. So we got there and I was like, okay, so how many, like in the summer? And he's 25 people, 1 instructor, 1 biker, and 25 people. Like, he's like, it's bigger than a soccer team that are trying to get across. Crazy. So we had so much fun. And then we kind of had a lackadaisical afternoon, just sitting in the markets, listening to these street musicians, again, having more gelato. And then we had a sunset dinner on like this top restaurant, beautiful. Just the colors of the sunset were just magical. It was perfect way to end it. Friday morning, we got on the plane. Well, we got to the airport. 24 hours later, we were home. But that's okay. That's okay. It was so much fun. A once in a lifetime trip. I love traveling with my daughter. We had so much fun. Seeing the things through the eyes of an 18-year-old is totally different than the eyes of 47. What she sees and what I see is just different. And it's so fun to appreciate and to watch her see and admire those things. So I will put some pictures here at the end, a little slideshow. Like I said, I showed most of these in Instagram stories because it was fun to bring you guys along. And I think a lot of you guys had fun going along with us. But in case you didn't, I'll show you some things here. If you have any questions, ask away. I definitely will remember now more than I will later. because it's still fresh in my mind, but we had so much fun and I'm so thankful for the opportunity to do it. But that is my Flosstube Friday, friends. So hopefully maybe you had some fun stitching, knitting. Are you doing the quilt along? I'm excited. Don't forget for the giveaway to subscribe. I'm really close to 8,000 subscribers. And so I would love to be able to do a big giveaway when we get there. Speaking of big giveaways, have you seen my friends Shelly and Liz from Antique Needleworkers just hit 8K? Congratulations, ladies. So they are not only celebrating whoop whoop party cannons for you, they have a huge 8K giveaway, and guess what one of them is? It's a Tiger Lily custom project keeper that they have commissioned for their winners to get. I won't give into any more details. I will link them down below. Go give them a watch, give them a follow, enter in to win the giveaway because that's super fun. So friends, until next time, happy knitting, happy quilting, happy stitching, and I'll see you next time.